your announcer voice on.
I don't.
Yes, you do, Douglas.
That's the dynamic profile on the soundboard.
Oh,
that's why.
It's like I don't know. Anyways.
This is my normal voice.
Okay. Welcome to Hot Marriage Cool Parents.
Yeah, sorry for making it weird. I'm Doug.
It's not weird.
No.
I'm Jamie.
Yes, and we are back with a very special episode.
Yeah, it's very special.
I feel like this has weird energy.
Yeah, this has weird. Can we just start fresh?
No. I think people enjoy the weird energy.
I don't know if they do. I just feel like it.
Oh, man.
I just got back from the gym and so I haven't even showered. So if you're watching on YouTube, sorry, I'm a sweaty mess. Sorry, not sorry. I'm proud of myself for going to the gym.
You should be.
Yeah, but next week I'm so pumped because we're going to have Alan Jackson's daughter on.
Maddie Jackson, a family-made podcaster, Maddie Jackson, who's going to be, she's the sun. So Maddie Jackson,
the sun, the moon, and the stars.
Maddie Jackson, who is part of the Family Made family, has a podcast called Enjoy Living with Maddie Jackson. She is also the daughter of country music singer-songwriter all-star Alan Jackson.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's his daughter.
I met Alan Jackson once.
You did?
Yes.
Oh. See?
It wasn't like I met him and we hung out or anything, but I say it like
Yeah. Did you hook up with him? Or?
No, it was nothing like that. I mean, he's been married for years and years and years. But no, I met him. So Chris Myers, who
I am very familiar with some of your meeting celebrities.
I'm the most socially awkward person you'll ever
it's fantastic.
meet.
It is fantastic.
And luckily Doug thinks it's funny.
Maria Menounos' mom was the absolute best.
Can we not?
Yeah, we don't have to go into
it.
it.
Let's just knock. I mean, I feel like now we have to because of course you're probably dying to know, but
it's amazing.
It's like cringeworthy. I mean, if you saw me on The Bachelor, you can only imagine how cringeworthy I could be. I mean, I'm
you were nervous. It's fine.
Every time I'm nervous, I am a little cringy.
Well,
and
you were nervous and tipsy.
Two bad combinations for me anyways. So, I don't even know how we got there, but I was telling you how
I was going to skip over it.
We have to tell the story now that we mentioned it. That's not fair. That's like if, like you're talking and then someone comes into the room and then you're just like kind of quiet and the person's like, what is this about? I feel like you like it's rude. Like at that point you have to tell the whole story again to whoever just came into the room. Otherwise they think it's about them.
So Maria Menounos' husband, who is one of the coolest, Kevin, one of the coolest guys ever.
It's a very, very nice family. They are
personable. And Jamie was on their podcast. And I guess we were out in LA and they had a event that was happening.
Well, the event was the mom's birthday. And so it was kind of a personal event. And we just happened to be in LA and we really kind of connected over the podcast. Yes. And he was like, oh, hey, I think we had actually just lost Jonathan and they, I think also struggled a little bit with trying to conceive. Don't forgive me if this was a long, long time ago.
Well, I think that the mom just got brain cancer.
Well, the mom had brain cancer for sure. Yeah. And I think they were trying to conceive. And so I feel like we kind of connected, I guess, over just our stories of struggling and whatever. Yeah.
So but we're also at Maria Menounos' house and we don't really know anybody. We're kind of just off on our own. And I'm inside eating, and Jamie comes in eating, and I'm talking to Maria Menounos' mom.
This is very embarrassing.
Jamie comes over and she goes, "Oh, it's your birthday."
I mean,
how old are you?
Oh my gosh, I talked to her like she was a kid.
Yes,
because I felt, and the only reason why was because I just felt so bad for her because I knew she had just been diagnosed with cancer and she had a tumor in her brain, and I don't know, my heart just really broke for her, and so that did not come off well though. Doug literally, she looked at me like I had 10 heads, and I was like, okay. And I did that one other time too.
It was amazing.
When I was nervous, and it was your grandma, and she was coming up the stairs for Thanksgiving. Grandma? Yes, Grandma Dot. Okay. This is way back when we lived in Parlin. We had been married not even a year. It couldn't have been a year because it was Thanksgiving, and it was our first Thanksgiving together. And Grandma Dot was coming up the stairs. And so for me, I'm really nervous. I'm still trying to get to know your family. I want them to like me. We're making them Thanksgiving. I'm like, geez, this is a little intense.
Yeah, jumped right in.
Yeah, that was a lot. And so your grandma was coming up our stairs because we lived in a townhouse that had 3 floors. So in order to even get to like the living room and the kitchen, you had to climb a flight of stairs. And your grandma was like, what, 80 something years old, climbing a flight of stairs. She was as healthy as a whistle at that moment. She's climbing the stairs, and as she's coming up, I looked down and I was just trying to be welcoming and kind. And I was like, hi, I'm so glad you're here. And it was like, like to a kid. And she also looked at me and I was like, and that time, at least I caught myself and I was like, oh gosh, Jamie, like don't talk to her like she's a kid. I don't know why I treat older people like older people.
Yeah.
Like, why do I do that to kids and older people like that? The older people don't want that. Like, that's not cute to them, but I didn't mean it, of course. Like, I wasn't trying to be like condescending or anything, but
no,
I don't know.
I mean, you had good intentions.
It's just so awkward.
It was amazingly awkward.
It's just so awkward. And so then, I mean, thank goodness Grandma Dot, she liked me, so that's okay. Like she let it slide. But I don't know about Maria Menounos' mom. She was just like, what the heck? Yeah. And Doug, as I'm like talking to her like this, Doug literally walks in from outside, hears us talking, turns around and walks back out.
I was already there. I was talking to her mom, and then you came in.
Oh, I thought you turned around. I feel like I remember you like starting to come over. Yeah, you went to go get something to eat or something. You came back over, but you turned around and went outside.
No, she was next to where all the food was, and I started talking to her. And then you came in from outside, and that's what happened. Because I was talking to her already, and then you started in.
I just remember.
And I slowly faded away into the coat closet and hid.
Why do I feel like I remember I was talking to her?
No.
And you
came in.
left a little bit, and then you came back and then walked away.
No. I was initially talking to her. I forget what we were talking about. We were talking about the food, and she was talking to me about some of her recipes, which I think Maria Menounos had like a show about recipes and stuff like that. And a lot of it came from her. So I was talking to her about that. And then you came in. And,
well, needless to say, Maria Menounos, if you don't know who that is, she was like an E! News correspondent, and she's a very popular television host and things of that nature. And
really nice couple.
Yeah. And also she had her own battle with cancer after that. And they're just very inspiring and sweet. And I'm incredibly awkward. And I'll
if you know Maria Menounos' mom, tell her that we love her.
Tell her that we're sorry, that I'm so awkward. Haven't seen her since then, so not sure why we didn't get an invite back. Just unsure.
But anyway, we.
I wanted to finish telling the story about Alan Jackson.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Because Chris Myers, who you know, so Chris Myers was one of my really good friends, and he helped me write a song for our wedding day. So
beautiful experience.
Yes, beautiful experience. It was either going to be beautiful experience or beautiful experiment. Right. And I was like, well, I don't know if I like experiment. That sounds too scientific, but that's what I thought our show was. And so if you're listening now from last week when we were talking about just married at first sight, and we were talking about, when we found out we were getting married and whatnot. Well, Chris was one of the people, of course, he was like one of my best buddies. I love him. I say this because unfortunately he has since passed and he was far too young. Wasn't even 40.
I think we saw him, most out of all your friends.
Oh, for sure. He was my gay friend. And I'm like, I hope I have, Chris send me another one. Because he was the best. He was the absolute best.
Fantastic voice. So outgoing.
So talented, so outgoing, so loving and warm, so kind, would give the shirt off his back, but also so fun to be around and entertaining. And just, he was the absolute best. Like anybody, you could tell him anything and everything and he wouldn't judge. But
so flamboyant too.
Oh, I love him.
Which is the best kind of gay person, in my opinion.
And he, honestly, just his personality was just so great.
He was awesome.
So rest in peace, Chris. We love you. I still have the mug that you gave us for our little housewarming gift at that Parlin, New Jersey apartment. And it says, be who you are, I think. And I don't even use it because I'm so he gave me 2 mugs, and soon after that, he passed, unfortunately. And so I had not seen him since then. And that was the last thing I ever got from him. So the other mug, even when we were moving, I was like, hey, that mug, no, like we got to wrap that like double. Like I don't want anything to happen to it because I just don't ever want to forget him. Something about death, and we don't have to go there or anything, but just with Sarah passing, my other friend who I actually met through Instagram, just with her passing and then my grandma passed and how it's just so final. And
which is why also it's fitting to have Maddie Jackson on, because shortly after she got married at 28, 3 weeks before her first year wedding anniversary, her husband had a traumatic severe brain injury and died.
What?
Yes, all of a sudden.
Oh,
which,
wow.
if you think about that, like that would rock your world.
Yeah.
Like turn your life upside down.
And oh my gosh, yes.
Out of that birthed a book, Lemons on Fridays, where she shares her couple-year journey through grief and despair and coming out. It's a truly inspiring story. So I'm excited to have her on, and can't wait to tell her about the Alan Jackson story that you haven't told.
That I haven't said yet. Okay, so Doug, stop picking on me. I feel like you just pick on me and pick on me.
No, I like it.
But it's true. I mean, I can't tell a story to save my life. But what I was trying to say is
Let's get to the 5-star review.
No, Douglas, jeez.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so Alan Jackson. So I was with Chris Myers, my dear friend, who rests in peace, who's in heaven, and he was the kind of guy, do you have a friend, if you're listening, like, do you know someone or have a friend who just always happens to like get the best things? I feel like, he just landed in luck, if you know what I mean. Like, he won these tickets to Alan Jackson for free, and they were meet and greet. And Alan Jackson, I'm a huge country fan. Like, I grew up listening to Alan Jackson. Like, he is like so cool to me and all his music. And I was like, wow, you're going to give me a VIP meet and greet to Alan Jackson? Like, no wonder why he was my best friend. I loved him. Yeah. So him and Chris and one of his other friends and myself, we all go down to, I can't recall where that was, like what state it was that we ended up going to listen to him, but we all go together and we got to I have pictures. We should include them. Are we able to include pictures in the show notes or no?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So. We should include the pictures in the show notes just for the fun of it. And as a matter of fact, maybe I'll post one on Instagram for those of you who follow us on Hot Marriage Cool Parents, because I have pictures of me and probably with Chris even at this Alan Jackson concert.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. And
I wonder if Maddie was there.
Oh, well, at that point, she's a lot younger than us, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I actually don't know that.
I think she's in her 30s. I think she might be the same age as you.
Oh, I just think in 28, and I'm like, well, that's a lot younger than me now. But then again, I'm like, well, that could have been, 10 years ago. But needless to say, we had a great time at Alan Jackson. He needs no introduction. I feel like everybody in America, if you don't know who Alan Jackson is, I'd be quite shocked, really.
I genuinely didn't.
What?
Yeah, I saw when I was going over and looking up Maddie Jackson, when I saw she became part of Family Made, I saw that she was the daughter of Alan Jackson, and I was like, oh, okay, he's a country guy. I didn't know that he was like the
king of country.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, geez. Well, I was just about to say, anybody who doesn't know who Alan Jackson is living under a rock. My husband has been living under a rock. Explains an awful lot. I wanted to make sure that we give you the 5-star review shout out. Thank you so much, genuinely, for the 5-star reviews that are coming in. It's amazing. It makes us feel like what we're like sharing. It's not always easy to be super raw and vulnerable and real. And
especially taking a hiatus for as long as we did when we put the podcast on hold.
But it feels really great. And I feel like we're back in our swing of things. Like, we don't even have a list of what we talk about. We just wing it and talk to each other and to you. And it's just, I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But after the 5-star review, we have had some questions, people reaching out for an update on Doug's journey with the opioid addiction and whatnot.
And we mentioned it last week.
Yeah. And also my fertility journey. I've had 2 doctor's appointments that I haven't really had a chance to talk to you about. So we're going to swing into that. But first, we definitely want to give this, it's a Massachusetts mom who left a review.
Yes. Relatable and raw. Driving home from work yesterday, I saw there was a new episode out. I decided to give it a listen, even if you have no idea who Jamie and Doug are, even if you don't follow along with The Bachelor or Married at First Sight or follow them on Instagram. You should really listen to their podcast, especially this episode. But I know once you listen to this one, you'll be hooked. I laughed, I cried, I smiled, I felt every emotion. As a new mom dealing with postpartum anxiety, I felt connected to Jamie, and listening to Doug's story about addiction was so incredible. This episode was everything I needed yesterday, and I'm so glad you guys are back. Thank you for being relatable and raw. You said things that I have been feeling for the last year, and it made things, you've said things that I have been feeling for the last year, and it made things make sense for me. Thank you.
Oh, Massachusetts mom, my heart goes out to you.
And congrats on the becoming a mama.
Yeah, congrats on that for a year ago. And honestly, you're in the thick of it. I feel like
postpartum is a thing.
No one really tells you this. And that's probably because they're all like, all we share is like the highlight reel of how adorable and gooey and like edible our babies are, because they are. But
Not when they first come out.
Oh, they're Hendrix was edible and well, actually.
No, he was covered in all different fluids.
That's actually very true. Yeah. I was like, this is our son? Is that red hair, Doug? I think he might have red hair.
He was born in a pool of blood. I mean,
I bled a lot.
Dyed his hair.
I ripped a lot. Yeah. That was a rough delivery.
I feel like that's why he's got red hair.
Please don't ever tell him that. That would be so disgusting for him. Don't tell anybody. Can we erase that?
No.
I don't want him to ever be picked on about that. But anyways, we're all born in a pool of blood. Let's be honest. We're all born with blood on us in some way. Just what happens. So my son is not alone. But speaking of that, it was obviously really difficult for us to get Hendrix. We had 2 losses and tried real hard to get him. And then this time around, we've been trying for about 3 years. And it's been, honestly, I feel like the trying has become increasingly difficult. Like to try, like to schedule the sex and to have the sex and to feel sexy during the sex and to actually connect during the sex and not just like, okay, we got to do it. And I wonder if that also plays a role in it. Like, does God say no?
Or putting pressure on you, I think.
Yeah. There's so much pressure to do it and do it all the time or do it in the right time. And like, are you like doing the ovulation sticks and all the things? And so
I was like, we always had something going on though. Like something stressful was always going on.
Yeah, I feel like I genuinely believe, and I'm putting it out in the universe, but I genuinely believe after talking to, our doctor, so our fertility doctor, of course, found that I have a blocked fallopian tube, that I have MTHFR. I always mix those 2 letters. I found out that my thyroid is out of whack, but only slightly. I didn't find that out through the fertility doctor. That was the next doctor that I saw. And so when I went to the fertility doctor, I found out for the fertility doctor that I have a low to normal AMH. And of course I'm 37, which is considered geriatric pregnancy or advanced maternal age. And because of these strikes, he was like, IVF. Also, there's so much to update you on.
It was a suggested IVF.
Yeah, he, and like, of course, that I could see why. I could see why that would be recommended. And, but I don't know why, but in my heart, I was like, geez, I got pregnant with Henley and I've had her. I've gotten pregnant with Rexy and I've had him. And I'm like, I just do believe that I can. And I do also believe that and I know that like I have been unwell, like I could, they say that if you have a vitamin D deficiency, which I did have, I've been really working hard to like heal myself from within, but they say that if you have a vitamin D deficiency, you should be out in the sun more. I live in Florida and I had a vitamin D deficiency. And what I found out is that sometimes a vitamin D deficiency isn't because you're not getting enough vitamin D. It's really your body telling you that you have hyperinflammation within your body. And you know what's really interesting?
Oh, so it's not a lack of vitamin D, it's other things suppressing.
I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't even want to like try to explain essentially what I've learned, but our minerals work together. And so if you have a lack of a certain mineral, well, we're just so used to just go to the over the counter and grab that mineral. But what you're doing is you could be then masking what's really going on in your body, because I don't remember which, I think it's iron. I'm not positive though, so don't quote me on this. If you're curious, of course, look into it, because it's interesting. It's all very, very interesting, because it's always taken me to eat a certain diet. And you would think maybe I would just make that my lifestyle, because obviously my body needs that. But I just love me a good donut and some cheesecake.
But then what would you do at 11:45?
I know.
At night?
And like McDonald's cheeseburgers and French fries with a Coke, you can't tell me.
We haven't had that in a long time.
No, we have not. But I'll tell you what, that is a great meal. I mean, that's even a Big Mac. Like, but let me just stop salivating over that because it's genuinely not good for your body, unfortunately. And I think occasionally, I believe everything in moderation is fine. But essentially, what I found out from all these doctors is that also, so my thyroid from the most recent, the maternal fetal medicine doctor, he was like, that could be the answer to everything though. And when you have inflammation and you have, of course, like the blocked fallopian tube isn't helping us, but he was like, if you have inflammation in your body, I have a lot of signs showing that I have a lot of inflammation in my body is essentially what he's saying. And that if I'm able to get my thyroid under wraps.
Well, does that help with the production of eggs, or does it help or hinder how many eggs are produced?
Honestly, he didn't really specify, but what he did say was that if you have an optimal thyroid level, and not just your thyroid, but your thyroid stimulating hormone, this is like deep, and it's a lot. I don't even know if anybody really even cares, but essentially I'm interested because I'm like, wow, this could be the answer. And what I think though, what you can take away from this, those of you listening, is that if you're struggling with something and you're not sure how to fix it, there's probably a food. I really believe in like functional medicine. Like food is healing. It genuinely is. And I know it sucks to give up McDonald's because I freaking love it too. But if you're able to give that up and follow and like find a registered dietitian or a functional medicine doctor, or, even do your own research. I mean, you can find out a plethora of information, just a wealth of knowledge on the internet, and just try to tweak your diet a little bit to things that don't cause inflammation and just test things out. I mean, right now, if you're watching on YouTube, I did work out, so my face is a little red, but my rosacea, which is also a huge sign of inflammation. And I knew, I was like, there must be something else going on in my body, because if my face is like constantly inflamed and filled with pustules and just irritated and dry and
red marks and blotches and stuff.
I mean, don't you think my rosacea is significantly better?
100%.
And I got to tell you, I did go to a dermatologist and they did prescribe me medication, and it really didn't even work. Like
it was the diet that, I mean, once you started to really stick to gluten-free and dairy.
And so all I'm doing now is I am genuinely working out. I'm trying to do at least 3 days a week. And and that doesn't mean I'm like hardcore, like, bro, like at the gym or something, but even if it's just a walk, like I'm just trying to make sure I move my body at least 3 times a week. And that's really quite minimal, to be honest. Like I think you should probably do, like I would like to,
as much as you can.
Yeah, you should probably do it, like move your body every single day, because it's very, very important. But so I'm doing that, and then I've also like been really serious about no gluten, like absolutely no gluten, because this doctor also told me, the high risk, the advanced maternal medicine doctor told me, if you have gluten, I don't know what exactly, he didn't explain thoroughly. I mean, this is over telemedicine as well, but he said essentially if you have gluten, that definitely impacts your thyroid, and your thyroid and all of these issues absolutely impact your fertility, and then your ability to be able to carry that pregnancy so that you don't have that loss.
Okay.
Which all makes perfect sense. And so I don't know, I'm feeling genuinely a little proud of myself, because
leave it till your mid-30s for someone to tell you that.
I know. Well, leave it to like all these issues to like have tested. And speaking of that and testing, I met with a geneticist, I believe it is. And
did they recommend that I need to get tested?
And so as a matter of fact, you have to go to Quest Diagnostics and go get your labs drawn.
Okay.
Yeah. I met with a geneticist literally yesterday, and the advanced maternal, or the maternal fetal medicine doctor was, highly recommended that we meet with this geneticist. And I believe I'm saying it's basically someone who studies genetics and can kind of advise you. And I
had it done before.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this after, because we had Henley swim and then like homework and Hendrix and whatnot. But, so the genetic doctor said that if she hadn't had a chance to review anything, because she doesn't have your results, which is why you're going to get them done again. But she said that if we both have biotinidase deficiency, which we do, we found out after we lost Jonathan that we have biotinidase deficiency, that has nothing to do with fertility though. Like that literally has nothing to do with trying to conceive. It just means that we both carry a gene that we
could pass to the baby, a 25% chance to pass it to the baby.
And I always thought that was really like not a big deal, but she kind of said, like, she kind of made it seem like, just, I mean, she was like, well, she didn't downplay it.
If we have 4 kids, one of them's going to have it.
Well, maybe not, because there's a 75. I'm like, can we just think about the 75% that they won't have it? I don't know. Like, I'd like to think about that. And, but anyway, she was saying that because we both have biotinidase deficiency, that would encourage a lot of people to potentially do IVF, because then you can test the embryo prior to pregnancy.
Oh, right.
And I was like, well, geez, no one ever told us that. That they kind of encourage IVF. They don't necessarily encourage it per se, but they say, well,
but they could check for it.
But that would be, I mean, normal people, they would never say, yeah, go for IVF. Yeah. But, this is a pusher for us to do IVF, because this baby, well, it's fatal if it's not caught, but luckily she said in Florida, and I think maybe throughout the nation, but I'm not sure. But in any case, for sure in Florida, when the newborn is born, it's one of the blood draws that they test to make sure, because of course we made sure Henley and Hendrix, they do not have biotinidase deficiency. But
is that when they cut the bottom of the foot?
Not cut, Jeez Louise, you make that sound vicious.
Don't
they just prick it, prick it a little, and we just squeeze out a lot of blood. It's like the worst part of being a labor and delivery nurse, because, well, actually it really happens on the postpartum or the maternity unit. But when I worked at a small hospital, I worked in labor and delivery, and you also worked, like, you would usually carry your patient over so they wouldn't have a change of nurses. That's the nicest thing about small hospitals. Yeah. So then I would have to do, it was called a PKU, and you have to like prick their little feet, and then you have to try to squeeze out so much blood onto these little cards, and we never do it in front of the parents, because the poor babies, of course,
screaming.
Yeah, but it's absolutely necessary to do, because this biotinidase deficiency would be fatal if it's not caught. So this, first you will find symptoms of like hearing loss. Like all sorts of different problems. It's an enzyme in your body that you absolutely need to have. And so
interesting.
Yeah. And so I said, okay, well, since she kind of, I guess I was like, oh, I didn't think it was a big deal. And she was like, well, it's a 25% chance. And it's a huge change of life, because this child, you have to make sure that your pediatrician is on top of it, because if it's not caught, it can be fatal. But if it is caught, they're going to need supplements. And it's not as easy as just giving them a pill. It's an infant. And then they have to have their labs drawn their whole entire life. They have to have this managed and monitored, which is why.
Really?
Yes. Huh. Yes. And we never.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, we did not know about all of this. But of course, that only makes sense. I don't think we even thought about it or considered it.
Wait, so that deficiency, we'd pass the deficiency gene over
together.
So why don't we have that?
Because we're just a carrier. You need 2 carriers to get the full the full genetic abnormalcy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes,
that we're carriers and not.
And that's why we don't show signs of it. But I was instantly like, wait a second, Doug's balding a little bit, and I have like really, I feel like I'm balding.
That's
a little
what
bit.
I thought.
I was like, wait a minute. I literally said to her, I'm like, oh, should we be taking more biotin? Like, I think
because they sell biotin.
Doug and I are balding. Is that why we're balding? Because that's also like there's alopecia.
Why do you lose hair on your head? But my back and the back of my neck grows constantly. Like, I know. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's like the top of your head is why would my shiny.
Yeah, I have 2 patches on my back, and my neck hair just grows, and I'm losing it on my head. Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But anyways, so those are the updates we had from the genetic counselor doctor and the maternal fetal medicine doctor. Mm-hmm. And I think, so she said, oh, so, I would like to get Doug's screening, and I would just like to double check that, that there's nothing else like lingering out there that we don't know about.
Did she pick up on the biotin?
I told
deficiency?
Her because she
did she see it in the labs?
No. And so that's why she hasn't even seen my results yet. She only heard from
what you told her?
Dr. Duffy.
Oh, okay.
And from what I said. And so she's going to get your labs, and compare them. And honestly, I've kind of, up until now, I've been like, oh, we're not going to find out anything new, because we've already done this before. Yeah. But then I go to the fertility doctor, which we had been to a fertility doctor before. However, it's not like we had to go through
we didn't go through everything.
But I genuinely did not know that I had MTHFR. I actually thought I was negative for that. I had no idea I had that. I mean, that would have explained an awful lot with all the losses, you know? And so I guess you do really do. I mean, things can be not picked up on, you just never know. We need to talk about your recovery journey because we're at like the tail end of it. Do you consider it the tail end of it if you're no longer really taking medicine?
Well, the way that I have been looking at it was I went through 4 rounds of shots for 4 months.
Yeah.
And each month, the dosage that they injected into my stomach went down. Went down. So meaning that there was just less in my system, which would dissipate over the course of a month or so.
And real fast, for those of you who are just catching up to the podcast now, Doug, a lot of people did not know this, and I didn't even really know this until recently, but Doug struggled intensely with opioid addiction to the point that it was near fatal, and I did not know that. And, to be honest, that has happened. I mean, this is a crisis in America and worldwide, really. I mean, it's
even scarier now with fentanyl.
Oh yes. And so, so I'm really, really proud of my husband for coming to the end of this addiction journey.
Yes.
I don't think it's ever an end because, once, I don't know, I'm sure that
once an addict, always an addict.
No, that's not at all what I was going to say.
It's like, that's part of it. I mean, if there's a predisposition in people to get addicted. So, and that's why
exactly it.
You have some friends that, like, when I used to, like, even in college and after college, like, if someone had a prescription of painkillers or someone had a prescription of sleeping pills, like, it was a foreign concept for me to say, like, how could you have that left over? And that was part of the abuse. Like, like how some people, they don't have that bug or that part of them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do. Well, speaking of sleep, did you know that there is one phase of sleep that almost everyone fails to get enough of, and certainly I fail to get enough of?
What's that? Deep sleep?
Oh, Miss Marty Hands, look at you.
I did go to nursing school. What can I say?
Well, it's true. A deep sleep is responsible for most of your body's daily rejuvenation, repair. It controls hunger and weight loss hormones, boosting energy, so much more. And it's crazy.
Yeah, and a lack of deep sleep is linked to struggles with cravings, slow metabolism, premature aging.
A big reason is magnesium deficiency, which not a lot of people talk about, and it shockingly affects 80% of the population.
If you're not sure if you are part of that 80%, magnesium deficiency is usually linked to higher anxiety and stress levels and difficulty relaxing before bed. Let me tell you.
I'm seeing a lot of hands raised.
I know, my own included.
Well, not all magnesium products are the same. In fact, most that are on the market only have 1 or 2 forms of magnesium that get offered, but there's 7 forms, and your body needs all 7 forms of magnesium, and it's an essential sleep mineral.
Which is why we are so happy to introduce you to our friends over at Biotinidase and their product Magnesium Breakthrough.
I really don't need much sleep, but on the other hand, I don't feel like I truly get a deep sleep each night.
I mean, it's hard with kids, but yeah, I have such a hard time settling my brain and relaxing once it's bedtime. Like, I'll literally just scroll Instagram, and I know that that's not healthy either.
Like, James, go to bed.
Yeah.
But so taking this magnesium before bed helps you relax. It helps you wake up refreshed and energized. And there's so many benefits to a deep sleep that are so noticeable.
And not only do they offer a 365-day money-back guarantee on all of their products, but they have a customer satisfaction rating of 99.3. I mean, I feel like that's like unheard of.
That's huge. And you can get 10% off Magnesium Breakthrough, my new best friend for boosting my deep sleep, at magbreakthrough.com/HMCP10. And be sure to use the code HMCP10 for 10% off.
That's magbreakthrough.com/HMCP10 and use code HMCP10 for 10% off.
All right.
Let's get some sleep. And, well, I guess before that, we better get back to it.
So
That's so good though, that you can just admit that without guilt or shame or feeling less than, because you're not less than. We all have something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, which wasn't always the case until recently. Even.
Yeah. So I'm proud of you. What I'm trying to say is, like, we should take a moment to pause. Like, this is monumental. You have come, stop, you're being sarcastic, but Douglas, stop, you're being so sarcastic. But we should take a moment to pause for real, because, you know, you could go through life and overcome obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. But if you don't ever take a moment to stop and be like, wow, like I did that, I'm proud of myself, then you're never, like, how are you ever going to feel good about yourself? You're just thinking about the obstacles, and all the obstacles are going to do is, you know, not make you feel good, you know? And so if you're having to overcome obstacle after obstacle, of course that's rough. So,
well, it's not about the obstacle. It's like when you get to this point, you know, where it's the tail end of everything, you still don't see it as something to celebrate.
I hope to help you
all of the
change that.
But like the act of overcoming it, and getting past it, and you know, that you can celebrate mentally. That's like a huge hurdle for anybody that's going through addiction. Like getting that part of your everyday life and that habit out of your routine is so difficult.
Yeah.
And you know, what became my routine after painkillers was a drug called Suboxone, which is, it blocks the receptors, so you don't have that same euphoric feeling, but you also don't go through withdrawal. So it kind of blocks that, and so it just, really prevents you from going through withdrawal and prevents the urge or the need for that. But that was always like a safety blanket and something that I had been on for over 10 years, because I knew coming off of that, the doctor would always say, you're going to have to go through withdrawal. And it could be anywhere from a couple days and then recur after a month. And, you know, you'll just have to push through it. And there's different programs, blah, blah, blah. When I finally decided to make the leap, I found a specialist down here that prescribed, it's called
Sublocade?
Yeah, Sublocade, which is an injection that they inject. It's a gel that injects into your stomach, and basically the same medication. It just weans off and tails off after, I think it was like 28 to 30 days. And what they found is that even in like heroin addicts and hardcore abuse, like drug abusers, after 3, 4, 5 months of this injection, when they come off of it, there's little to no side effects. There's little to no withdrawals.
Which is really a miracle.
Which is something I was very skeptical about in the beginning, because, you know, this medication before was a film that I would take in the morning and around 5 o'clock. And that was, you know, that was just my routine.
Yeah.
So, you know, breaking that habit, and then, you know, the anxiety of what if it doesn't work, or what if, you know, what if this happens, or whatever.
Well, drum roll, please. Don't you have one of those on your little keyboard over here?
Nope, that's totally not it.
There we go. Kinda.
Nah.
That's kind of it. Oh, you don't have it. Oh.
No, we don't have it.
Okay. Sorry to take you through. Doug has like all these buttons on his.
So now it's been over a month since I decided that 4 shots was going to be my program. And so I had my 4th shot a little over a month ago now, which is normally when it would start to,
which is monumental,
wean off and sort of go. So
that means it's weaning off, and it's
basically almost, or is, out of my system.
So that means, and this is where I'm like, drum roll, please.
Which is really encouraging and very exciting.
You are living right now at this very moment without any drug addiction medication in your body
for the first time in
over a decade.
Yeah.
Can we get a celebration for that, Douglas Hehner?
I love you.
I need to like take him on a vacation, make you dinner when you're the one that makes all the yummy dinners. You probably don't even want my dinner.
Yeah, she was like, should we celebrate or have a party? And
I'm like, we should have like
my initial reaction is like, why would we celebrate that? You know,
that is a huge thing to celebrate.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I think mentally I'm starting to, realize what I overcame, and it's something that not a lot of people overcome. There's still the part that just looks at, all the time you wasted, all the people you hurt, all the money you spent, all the, things that you ruined because of this addiction. But you can turn your life around. It's possible, whether it's through medication or whether it's, through your own personal will. You have to be mentally over it. You have to be mentally ready to just be done with it.
And you have to also know that there is a way out. And I feel like, Doug, you sharing your story, and I know you don't ever, he would always tell me, I don't want anyone to come to me for advice. I don't have advice to give. And
because I didn't do it a traditional way. It was like the meetings never worked really for me. They felt annoying to me. Having a sponsor felt really annoying to me. But I realized people don't a lot of times have loved ones around them. They don't have family that's there to encourage. And, so I get it. It works for a lot of people, and that's why those meetings are there, and that's why those programs are there. It just never worked for me, and I have no interest in becoming a sponsor or helping out, which is terrible to say, but like I just want to be out of that scene. I don't, it's not something that I'm bothered by now or something, because I haven't even drank in over 10 years.
But I mean, and he couldn't drink because of this medication that he was on. And so now if you wanted to have a drink, you could have a drink. Although I think that our therapist would probably say, maybe just don't, because you're not even craving it. And it could become addicting, we both have very addictive personalities.
I was a very light, very little drinker. I never liked the feeling of being drunk. Like it always just was like even through college, like there was very, very rarely I was like looked forward to being hammered.
Yeah.
Or looked forward to being, to drinking, for a little bit. It always just gave me a headache, but I mean, we'll see, but it is something that I'm very proud of.
I am so incredibly proud of you, Douglas.
Thank you for being so encouraging and not pushy.
You're very welcome.
Letting it be on my time and everything else. So you were very much a part of this.
I love you. That is the most exciting news. I don't know what we're going to do to celebrate, but we have to do something, Doug. I mean, we genuinely have to. I mean, that is
get hammered.
No, we're not. Yeah, we're going to avoid that.
Yeah.
But we're going to celebrate in some way, like maybe a family vacation or something like that.
That would be nice.
Although a family vacation
doing something nice
never feels like a vacation if you're the parents.
Nope.
So maybe a family vacation, and we have like
daddy mommy vacation sounds great.
But then I have we're going to St. Jude, so we'll be leaving them for a St. Jude, it's just very important to us. Like we really support St. Jude and love St. Jude and all that it does.
And we did it last year.
Yeah.
Their Country Cares Foundation.
Yeah. So we're leaving them for that though. And that hurts my heart a little bit. Yeah. And then we have a family made event that we're very, very excited about. And we'll be leaving them again in November. And I'm like, I don't want to leave them again, even if it is to celebrate. Like, let's celebrate with them, because it's hard to leave your kids, even though they're so much work.
Yeah. I mean, we could do something.
We could just maybe hire someone to come with us to help us with them so that we can have like a date night or something.
That'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Find an empty parking lot and, put the seats back and see what happens.
The other day we dropped off the kids. What was it? We dropped off the kids, or
you had time before you were going to start your workout class.
Oh yeah. We dropped off the kids and I had 20 minutes and I was like, if we're 20 minutes early, you think we have time for a quickie?
I mean, I only need 46 seconds.
Douglas hater. But I was like, I'm not doing that and then going to the gym. That's just disgusting. So that didn't happen. But sorry, Doug, because probably I haven't talked about doing a quickie in the back seat in a long time.
It has been a long time.
Yeah. I honestly feel like I'm in a healing era. And it's interesting that every time I've tried to make a baby, I've kind of become like in a healing era for myself first. And that just goes a lot to say, I think, for women and how, well, I mean, it's kind of complicated because I feel like some women, like my mom, for example, could be like high as a kite and get pregnant because she got pregnant with me high as a kite, like literally passed out the night.
She popped babies out all the time.
But then there's women like me who literally have to heal their whole entire body before, you know, a baby grows within. So that's okay. Maybe that's why. Maybe because my egg came from a woman that was high as a kite. I don't know. Who knows? It's no big deal. You know, like luckily, like God has a purpose for all of us. And so it doesn't matter.
All exciting things though.
Yeah. But next week I'm so pumped because we're going to have Alan Jackson's daughter on.
Maddie Jackson.
I'm going to have to ask her if she gets like annoyed of being introduced as Alan Jackson's daughter.
Yeah, she doesn't have that in her bio.
She doesn't.
No.
Good for her. So, okay. So I will not be
We'll
introducing
read
her.
a different intro for her.
Yeah. But I mean,
which I put together.
I don't blame her.
Fine.
It's got to be something interesting if your dad is like the king of country music and like growing up with that.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. And then it I mean, she's got a fantastic message. Heartbreaking, but also a enlightening and inspiring story. To share. So, you know, we're excited to have her on.
I'll try my best not to be super awkward.
That's okay if you are.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much again for your 5-star reviews. And I see all of you on Hot Marriage Cool Parents Instagram. And thank you so much for engaging with us there and on our pages.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll see you next week. We love you guys. Bye.
Love you. Bye.